Welcome to Museum Archipelago. I'm Ian Elsner. Museum Archipelago is your audio guide through the landscape of museums. Each episode is never longer than 15 minutes, so let's get started.
Hi, aloha, I should say, from Hawaii. I'm Lisa Brochu, an interpretive planner.
I met Lisa in Akagara National Park in Rwanda. I was there as a tourist, and she was there as a guide trainer.
Working with Akagara National Park in a capacity as a guide trainer, bringing their newly founded community freelance guide program up to speed on how better to communicate with the visiting public.
Her philosophy and teaching stress that the best way to communicate with the visiting public is by having a strong central theme.
We believe the research, and the research tells us that people don't remember individual facts or they get them wrong. Those gee whiz facts are fun to know, but they don't usually stick. But what does stick is the broader idea or concept behind something and why it matters. And so if you really want to make that connection with people, both emotionally and intellectually, you need to give them something the basket to carry all the facts in. And that's what a theme is. It's a way to kind of put a handle on something to attach the facts to.
Akagera National Park is Rwanda's only savanna, but it also includes mountain and swamp ecoregions. There's a guiding system in the park with 10 park-employed guides and 15 community freelance guides. Visitors can use their own vehicle to drive through the park with a guide.
We were invited to the park to conduct training there with the park guides. And so we did training with the park guides to bring them up to speed, not on content. We didn't, explain what an elephant is. We worked on communication. We wanted them to be able to better communicate with their visiting public so that they could make emotional and intellectual connections with them and hopefully gain more support for the park and park activities and the local communities as well.
For your own sense of how your method is helping, how do you kind of establish a starting point? Kind of how do you establish a baseline that you can improve upon?
That's a great question. And it's different. It depends. It depends on the situation and what we've been asked to do. And when I say we, I'm talking about my training partner, colleague, and husband, Tim Merriman, and myself. So in my view, the best way is to go in kind of with stealth into any situation first and get the real sense of what's going on. So even when I'm doing planning for a visitor center or an aquarium or whatever, I will tend to go in first just as a visitor with not the I'm here to meet the executive director flag. I go in just like anybody else and get a sense of how I react and how other people react as well. So in Akagera, we didn't have that luxury of going out with everybody early on and doing the assessment. So we relied on what they were saying to us. And then over the course of this is a 5-day course, and over the course of the 5 days, we get to know them very well. If we have the opportunity then to go out after the class with one of the guides, which we did here in Akagera, it was quite interesting to kind of see the shift in where they were at the first day of class and where they were on a tour with regular people after the fact. A gentleman who does the boat tours. He's very good and knowledgeable about all the animals. But as most guides do, he has a tendency to want to give you a lot of information that's probably going to bounce off and not stick, and a lot of names and scientific names and whatnot. After the course, we were able to go out on the boat tour with him, and we were on the boat with 6 other people who were not our party. So I was getting their reactions as well as ours. He did not introduce us. He played like he didn't know us, but he went from being a let's just see what we see and give all the information about it to starting with a clear introduction to himself, the park, what they're trying to do there, express the mission of the park, and stated a clear theme about how the lake had played such an important role in the biodiversity of the park. And so he really got that out there first thing. We went through the tour, and at every point during the tour, he kept bringing us back to that theme. So he was still telling stories of the individual animals that we saw. He was still throwing a few biofacts out there and getting the ooh, ah reaction from the audience. But when we left, he reinforced that theme, and people left going, wow, I had no idea this lake was such an important piece.
This type of training that you're doing, would you say that it's that other media or other maybe better funded cultural institutions have already done this, and it's kind of the job of the smaller, less well-funded to use the same methods, again, using the methods that the research suggests, and it's important for their survival. Would you go that far to say that it's important for various institutions like Akagera's survival to have these clear themes that everybody who goes through walks away with?
Yes, and that's a great theme statement, by the way. Got a nice universal in there. Yes, I do. And here's the reason why. I think we suffer with this here in Hawaii. When you have a resource that is big and bold and in your face, here we have the volcano, we have whales, we have dolphins. Akagera has elephants and now rhinos and lions and leopards and other big animals. When you have that sort of spectacular resource, it's very easy to go, wow, to bring people there and let them have that wow experience. I think you have to go beyond the wow, because the wow doesn't last. The wow is an instantaneous gratification thing, and what a theme does is it starts you thinking about. I mean, a good theme. It starts you thinking about what the meaning behind the experience is. So why does it matter? It gets to the heart of that and gives you something to reflect on afterwards. So instead of saying, wow, those elephants are big, it has a lasting connection thread that makes you start thinking more about elephants, connects you to them emotionally, not just intellectually, and then hopefully what that does is stimulate you to make some sort of commitment towards their conservation in the future. I don't do anything without a purpose. I think purpose and message have to be integrally linked. So you don't want to step on your message. You don't want to be talking conservation and then be handing out plastic bags in the gift shop. There are sorts of ways to step on your message, but I think if you can really get your message and your purpose aligned, you've got something very powerful. It doesn't take away from the wow factor. That's important. It just augments it so that it sticks.
I just have one more question, maybe to tie it all together, and which is, in your words, what is that central theme at Akagera? What was the one unifying message that you want someone a couple weeks out to remember?
I want them to think about how important it is for people like you and me, people who visit there, people who live there, everybody to be involved in the conservation of what is Rwanda's only piece of savanna ecosystem. It is a unique piece. in Rwanda, and it takes everybody to help protect it, help conserve it, so that it remains a viable part of Rwanda's natural and cultural history.
This has been Museum Archipelago. We hope you enjoyed your visit. Notes on this episode can be found at museumarchipelago.com. Next time, bring a friend.